But multiple teams so far have opted to go for something like a position 4 Oracle or a position 5 Oracle, just to be able to get that counter pick on your other support. However, that Prophet is very flexible. It's not even your offlane and mid, it's also your position 5, right?
I'm just waiting for offlane AA to make it into the meta. That hero is
Zai
so
played
good.
it, right?
Yeah. It's suffers because it has no wave clear whatsoever. So you really need to have a laning phase, and you also get destroyed by a bunch of like creep heroes, but you know, it's just a way to fit it into your lineup realistically. And I just don't like that either, man.
Yeah.
Clock is not good against Phoenix Death Prophet. In theory, I can interrupt the dive with my Q, and I can buy a Blade Mail, and Death Prophet can't stop dealing damage. But in reality, you're just a very low damage support that ends up getting drained or burned and dies.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that as well. They did roll it on position 3 as well sometimes, so you can get your items a little bit earlier, but even on 3, I don't like. Yeah, I don't even like that. Yeah, on support versus Phoenix, versus heroes that have built-in mobility spells such as dive, Clock just feels underwhelming. We have seen it today played by OGC, but they had everything around that Clock. They had such a high tempo of a lineup that they were able to win versus even OG with it.
Yeah, you also have some pretty significant wave clear issues right now, which is still a necessary mechanic if you're going to win games that are even. Yeah, sure, you can dominate it and just run around, kill people, but typically when things break down, you need somebody that can push out lanes quickly. And while Troll is like decent at it, you're not the same as a bunch of the other carries popular in the meta, unless you go for like some Battle Fury, but even that takes a lot of time to come online, and you cannot buy a Battle Fury in a game like this. I think the ideal Troll build is still this like diffusal S and Y into satanic builds where you prioritize status, resist, and sustain.
We know that Charlie's like more of your kind of traditional carry, likes to farm. Do you think there's a high probability he goes for something like a Maelstrom in this game? And if so, is that too slow?
I don't think you buy Maelstrom on Troll ever, honestly. It's just not a... I don't know, it's just a weird item. I think Diffusal provides far more. And even if you wanted to go back for a Battle Fury, like the amount of... it just provides a natural power spike if you get a Diffusal. Maelstrom is kind of like a poor man's Battle Fury.
Yeah, it's a poor man's Battle Fury, and it gives you later on, if you built it into Mjolnir, some attack speed, some AoE. That's how they justify it usually. Versus some heroes, it's good. Versus Phoenix and his egg, it can be decent, right? But let's look at the positives. They have Oracle now versus Lich and Phoenix. They have Oracle combo with the Troll. You can also deal with the silence from that Prophet. So overall, the game for Oracle and Troll can be decent. Now they have to find a way to really deal with the egg as well, and with that teamfight combo that's coming from Alliance.
I will say this is where I feel like maybe Alliance is a bit of a weakness, where this is Liquid, this is just a Insania Phoenix 100%, keep it as a 5, and you pick some sort of playmaker for Taiga, but Alliance are keeping it on Hansman's hero. So now you pick this Lich that's pretty underwhelming when you consider Clock has solo kill potential on him for most of the game, and Oracle's going to cleanse off the shield or purge off the shield. So it's not ideal, I would say, but it is quite nice against Troll, just to frost shield his target. Decent synergy with your Death Prophet, sure. We'll see how it pans out.
Right, so
Saberlight Center.
I'm not a fan of this. I don't like this at all. I think once again they have completely ignored Death Prophet, and that's like Alliance's best hero. And you're just saying, yeah, we don't care. What is you're gonna buy Vessel on your Centaur again? Is that the plan here?
Yeah, I guess if Clockwork has a better game, he can do it. And also, that Prophet doesn't have to be an S4 hero, right? It can still be mid. They can get that brawler type that's also your frontliner on the offlane. Or you could go for DK again. That's also an option.
I think it's not Mars is still available, right?
You can do whatever you want.
Banned,
there's no... Where's the NiP damage right now? I just don't see it.
In the final pick, hopefully. Just like what's going to deliver enough?
It's once again real single target. The team fight's just not there. You're not going to be able to walk into Death Prophet ult or Phoenix Egg right now, and that's a huge concern.
Let's figure out where Alliance is going to go. Timber.
Just something fat. It really didn't matter. You could have gone DK, but they prefer the Timber in this sort of matchup, and it makes sense. Clock. What does Clock do? You really need Spirit Vessel now.
You need it as soon as possible, right? You do have some burst Not a lot coming from the Oracle, I suppose.
That's scraping the barrel at this point.
I'm reaching, man. But for Alliance, okay, what are the gaps in their draft? They don't really have anything solid that's going to prevent you from hitting the egg. They do have the damage soaker in Timbersaw that's going to be up front. But if you just ignore him and go for the backlines, you can deal with the egg and the lich and the Death Prophet, who has absolutely no save on her side. You don't have your Oracle, your heals, no shields. So if NiP rounds this draft up well, I do see cracks in Alliance's draft this time around.
I feel maybe NiP go for like a sniper, or you need a sniper or like a necro, something that does massive damage. And if I'm Alliance, I think I'm banning Sniper. Ironically, after we discuss how bad the Sniper Troll meta was, maybe we would see it.
I mean, it's really good versus Death Prophet and Phoenix.
Yeah.
And they have zero reach on the side of Alliance.
I like it against Timber, too.
Yeah. Overall, they have zero reach. They have no ways of getting close to that Sniper.
Yeah. But I can't think of another hero. Like, you could Dusa, I suppose, but then it's just like, you're Medusa Troll. Like, that just doesn't feel good.
If you do get that Sniper, if you're thinking about it, you have to ban out the Slark, though, too. It's also, it would be a big issue.
It's another free Slark game.
Yep.
They banned DK instead. I wouldn't be surprised to see Alliance just grab it. Jug isn't ideal here. I do want to make sure, like, Slark, the way Nico Baby played it, I like.
It's really good. However, if it's a Slark versus Sniper game in this one, he needs to be the ultimate win condition. He needs to be very fat. He can't just join every single brawl early on. But then again, I do see this problem in Alliance's draft, in which S4, he can reel in a lot of aggression, but if they play well against it, if they ignore it, they could just obliterate Alliance's backlines.
What if they just pick a mid hero as well? It's always a possibility. You just put Nico on the Timber or the Death Prophet. I don't know. It's still open, right? And that's the beauty of these initial 4 picks. I really liked Nico Slark. I will say he plays this really active style, and I just think it gives the hero like this new flavor. I specifically like the phase drums. You don't have the same like farming speed as you would with treads, but because of the crazy high attack speed from the active on drums, you effectively get the move speed and mobility of phase, the bonus armor, and then 6 opportunities to do massive
But
damage.
it's a Faceless Void.
They go back. And that's also your teamfight control that they desperately needed. I think this is a really good pick in that way. I was actually not sure what they were supposed to pick here, but Void makes a lot of sense, and this draft just suddenly becomes complete. You have combo with Yeg, you have combo with Lich, you have exactly the amount of disable that you very badly needed. I just love this Void.
Yeah, I love it too, and it's comfort. It's like Sniper, Dusa, Necro. I really can't see a damn thing for NiP in the pool, and I don't even know if I like those heroes for them, but I don't know what else is there.
With this Void, like you were talking, if it was a Slark, he needs to be stacked up, he can't be involved. Do you expect the way Alliance to play this to just have the Void running around looking for fights as well, straight off the lane?
Just go with Huskar. No?
TA?
All
right.
Okay.
Themselves.
That's the Supreme Special, and I like it better than my ideas because it gives you this ability to just get super ahead, and then you don't have damage issues anymore. The Clock, the Centaur, these heroes can now just set up for the TA.
Have you seen the Aghanims build, by the way?
I have.
TA? What do you think? It can work really well.
Like an episode of Star Trek.
I think we shouldn't see it. That's what I think.
No, I think
that for your meme games.
I think that Aghanims build on TA eventually will become very popular.
Really?
Mm.
It just makes you a completely different hero.
You can't replace any of the items in your build. You need the Death, you need the BKB. It's just so... I could see it, but I think it's more relevant later in the game when you can eat the eggs.
I think you need to play a different kind of a game completely around the TA. Draft differently. And then if you go first item mags, you're completely different type of a hero.
I don't know. If it wasn't Death Prophet mid, I would really feel confident with the TA pick, but I just... love Alliance. I think their team fight's still hugely ahead. You need to play a near flawless game for NiP if you're going to win this game. Supreme has to have maximum 1 death.
Yeah, Alliance, their lineup as well just looks so easy to execute, man. You have Void, Lich, Phoenix. It's just simple.
Okay, let's look for a light at the end of the tunnel for NiP. How do they win it? Is it all on Supreme to just carry this game? If they have a chance in hell of beating Alliance in your eyes?
Yeah. Supreme can't have more than 1 death, or they're in some serious trouble, and he has to remain that like 1 item ahead of Nico Baby, and that's just hard because you're losing every single team fight. So
how did they kill the Timber, by the way, eventually?
The clock, but how long is it going to take him to get a Spirit Vessel, right?
It's TA. TA, Troll Diffusal, you've got options, and it's taking an early roach as well.
Yeah, that's a fair point. You're right.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Unlikely. I really just think Alliance is also playing like the better team. They have a really good read on the meta right now. And I just, once again, think if you're going to beat them, how do you give Limp free Death Prophet games? And
it's the first stage, first pick, by the way.
Yeah, it's not like it was
crazy,
concealed from you.
Well, I don't know how they're going to beat this DP. We'll have to actually see if they got a chance in hell, because I believe the game is ready. Nomad 1437 on the line, ready to see if NiP can drag this back.
Yeah, not a lot of love for the chicken in pajamas, and a lot of faith in the side of Alliance. Faven, we've been doing a bit of conversation. We were putting forward a lot of picks, and I gotta say, the last pick TA was not something we saw coming through. But do you think it's enough to save this NiP draft?
Yeah, I mean, I feel what NiP is doing is they picked a lot of really strong heroes that have potential to win their lanes, and they need to snowball. But at the same time, like, they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves that they have to snowball here, right? I think one opening that they do have in this game that maybe the panel didn't mention was that if they can somehow ruin this Timber's game and make him like a non-factor, they could have a really good shot, I think, here, because Timber is not a really good hero. Like, playing from behind, he's just going to be a huge burden to his team. Alliance will just pretty much play with 4 other guys who can take team fights. And then at that point, that's when the TA can truly shine, where the enemy has some kind of a burden on their team and you can just run around and start killing the Lich, the Phoenix, the DP. These heroes generally don't do too well against minus armor. And I feel like that's probably the best opening that NiP has.
Yeah, the art of war, rather than aiming for the highly armored parts, just aim for the weakest link. And it's going to be Error actually able to sneak a bounty rune here, but that is just going to make it 1-for-1. So nothing really exciting happening here. Yeah, I think I am worried for Ninjas in Pajamas, but I think I have a little bit more faith than maybe the panel did. I see ways in which Supreme can take this game. I think Supreme is a very underrated player. I think he often gets eclipsed by Sableye in this team, but if he can really kick off in this game, that's what we're really looking to. But yeah, as the panel did say, they believe this TA can do it, but 1 death is the moment. The moment she gets those 2 deaths, just GG out, boys. It's over.
Yeah, oh boy, it looks like they actually swapped the lanes and they want the Centaur to be laning top. I think this is going to give S4 exactly the lane that he wants. And that's not going to be the best situation, because a snowballing Timbersaw is going to be pretty much impossible for NiP to bring down in this game. If you look at their damage, it's all physical damage. And Timber, we all know, once he builds up that reactive armor, you're going to need magic damage to bring him down. They don't really have much of that on NiP's side.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Sableye even taking a bit of harass up here in the top lane. I do agree with that, though. I think if the Faceless Void has a bad start to the game, it's not really too much of a worry, because the other 2 heroes are going to be able to make the space for him. Like,
Exactly. And this is where, like, I would have rather NiP tri-lane the Timber here and, like, really, you know, maybe get a kill or 2 on him and just snowball the Troll Warlord.
Some trouble in the top lane, stomps up the Timbersaw, and that might have just got him out of there, but it's the bottom lane where the action's really happening. F&G gets killed off by Charlie. So finally, this aggressive tri-lane finds something, and they're looking towards Nico Baby as well here. Charlie's making a way over, does have the axes, but the time walk away from Nico should keep him nice and healthy, as Hanskin even comes in as well and throwing a couple of Fire Spirits the way of NiP, just to say, get off my carry, you big old meanies.
And look at Nico Baby, he's still got 8 lasses. He's fighting against 3 heroes bottom. And now, Hanskin has decided to join up in the bottom lane here. S4 already have that advantage on the top.
Yeah, nice 2-man blast from Seneko, but it looks like Error might be the one in trouble as he got Frost Blast comes through. Jump forwards from Nico Baby. Do they see this as an opportunity? No, they will not. Error will just lose his life. That rotation catch them by surprise and get them a very valuable kill onto that Clockwork, turning things around. But this is going to mean it's going to be S4 versus Sableye, but you know, the old adage, if a Timbersaw is against a strength hero, he's probably going to have a good time. Meanwhile, the mid lane, Supreme getting a little bit low to Limp here, but he's got himself a salve to throw down as well. Does look like Limp's taking a really strong early lead in this middle lane, though.
Oh, yeah. This is actually very commandingly, too, like 69-0. Supreme is quite behind in terms of experience in this lane. So we'll see how this will further develop. But I think Limp is just going to keep on pressuring him up here. He knows that he's got that gold advantage over the mid laner and that XP advantage. He's not going to let him go for free. And top lane, Saberlight, he just keeps skipping here, and he's tanking so many whirling deaths from S4. S4 is just not giving this Centaur anything.
No, he's really not.
He's not doing too bad though. He's level 4 on the Centaur at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. He does have the XP advantage because he was solo in this top lane to start with, remember? So yeah, he's got that going for him. But unfortunately, you know, still being a strength hero into a Timbersaw means that it doesn't really matter about your level advantage. You're still going to feel very pressured by this Timber.
Yeah, and imagine, bottom lane era. Now he's gonna be completely fine. Gonna TP out here. But yeah, but imagine that the other 2 lanes compared to the Timber versus Strength hero matchup are the ones that are doing better for a line. So that's kind of scary for NiP already. And there's an early start to this game. The mid lane and bottom lane both have as much or more last hits than the Timber does.
Yeah, and Supreme's getting absolutely bullied in this middle lane here. Oh no. Gets a regen rune as well on the Death Prophet. Could things gone better for him? Yes, but this regen rune is just not helping at all. This feels absolutely rotten for him now having to play into this. Oh my god.
That is extremely miserable. He has so much resources. He's got 2 more mangoes as well. He can cast so many Crisp Swarms in his lane if he needs to, Limp. And Supreme already going into the jungle at 4 minutes. This is a guy that NiP really needs to snowball in this game, and things are looking a little bit rough at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he hasn't had any deaths yet, but he also hasn't had any last hits.
Lane.
Oh, nice kill on the FNG, and now that look towards Handskin as well. NiP looking for their second one, but he's got that dive to get himself to safety. And NiKoBaby still pretty much untouched in this bottom lane and leading the Troll fairly significantly in CS as well. NiKoBaby having a much better time down here.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of pubs lately, and like Face's Void just seems like such a powerful hero at the moment. Oh, Supreme has the TP out of the mid lane with the Exorcism being gone on him.
Yeah, Era tried to wrap around the back to try and make something happen, protect his mid laner maybe, but nevertheless, Supreme will survive. But FNG, he's actually wrapping him from behind as well, so a couple of heroes gathering up in this middle lane. Era makes himself known, but Limp's immediately going to jump on him, but he's got those cogs, but in from the back, FNG is here. Meanwhile, Saneko also TP himself into this one and trying to blast down Limp, but Limp, he's plenty healthy. Meanwhile, Era on top of FNG, doing a decent amount of work onto the Lich here, but knows he needs to keep his distance from this Death Prophet, so not overcommitting to anything so far.
Oh yeah, I love this movement from FNG here. The catapult is coming to mid lane. Limp is already snowballing his mid lane, so they're just going to apply that pressure. FNG just around Limp, just in case NiP try to make any plays onto him. And because FNG did this and the tower mid has been dropped to 190 health, Era and Soneko had to move mid lane to help out Supreme defend the tower. Yeah, and all of a sudden, this troll is just left bottom all by himself. And you can't afford to leave your carry in a lane, especially in the off lane, all by himself like this.
That said, there was a heroes brought in from both sides, so I think this matchup remained pretty even. But it is still NiKoBaby just getting more creeps, basically. He's just hitting more creep. Yeah, he could be run down here as Saneko. They're going to try and pop the ultimate, but unfortunately, it's not enough. He clicked on himself. Oh god, that is not the time for a play like that. They are trying to get under his skin.
Oh, they know he messed up. He healed himself on accident. Yeah, we caught that too, right?
I certainly did. That was wow. That just this game is just a complete emotional test for NiP at this stage. As Supreme tries to turn it around, Limp actually losing a little bit out in that engagement, and Supreme might even go for this one, coming onto the high ground, but he doesn't actually have any points in the Melt Strike and doesn't have Refraction up available either, so lacking on the damage front to really bring down. But Era coming behind the tower here, but Limp's actually healing up pretty nicely from this one, and now we'll just turn around with the Crypt Storm. Era, get yourself away, he is going to survive, but now Supreme left alone, going for the TP out. They don't have the cancel, so Supreme will make his way back under his tower, surviving this engagement. Meanwhile in the top lane, S4, yeah, he's taking the tower. He's just hanging out on 60.
And look at Saberlight. Look at Saberlight.
Oh wow, yeah, this guy.
There's some wonky shit happening up top lane. Like S4 is behind the tier 2 in the top lane. Saberlight is behind the tier 2 in the bot. Jeez. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
I feel like the difference here is that the Centaur can stay under tower. Sorry, the Timbersaw can stay under tower and Centaur kind of can't. So that seems to be where the difference comes in. But yeah, I mean, the Civilized's doing okay on net worth, but S4 is just absolutely humongous. He is giant, and he's just a big, big boy. Meanwhile, Hanskin, they're trying to go onto him, but they won't finish the job. And now Lim just popping the ultimate with S4 coming in from behind Supreme, losing his life so quickly. They do get the kill into Hanskin, but they will trade for Supreme, which is a very nice trade for Alliance indeed. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and they're gonna get another tier 1 tower. That's 8 minutes, 2 tier 1 towers dead. You don't normally see this kind of pace of the game nowadays, like as to like when the tier 1 towers die. Normally you see them die like after 10 minutes, but all of a sudden S4 just moving to the bottom lane. Oh, just gonna TP top, go for Sableye here. But Sableye is gonna TP out.
One background, it's gonna connect. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was legit. That was some real star sense there by Sableye. He really felt like this Timber might be TPing in for him, because I think he TP'd in the fog, right? Behind the trees there. But perfect timing by Sableye there to get out of the top lane.
Yeah, he knew something was up and got himself away. So, and I mean, all things considered, the gold advantage isn't ridiculous for it. It's not as bad as it was last game somehow. I mean, they've had the equal amount of kills on each side, I suppose, so that does make a difference.
I guess the tower map control is what's struggling right now for NiP here. Yeah.
I'm surprised though. You take 2 towers, you seem to dominate every lane, yet somehow there's only 1k gold advantage.
I think it's mainly because the Centaur is was completely free farming top as well, because he was behind the creep waves. And on top of that, S4 has moved from like top to mid to bottom and like back to top, and he hasn't been hitting any creeps for like 3 minutes now already. So even though he's the highest net worth, he could be much higher if you just stay top, but he wants to like apply some pressure on the map instead. And Troll gonna TP where Hanskin is for the outpost.
Yeah, but look, Sableye, he's waiting, he's playing catch. Will he find him? Hanskin on the run, but they're gonna pop the Stampede to try and get this kill, and they should bring down this little flaming pigeon. See you later, Hanskin. That's a kill going the way of NiP.
I think I've seen Hanskin die the same exact way before in another game, where he took the top outpost. He's always dying for this outpost on the top lane, especially when they're playing Radiant. But it's a really well-timed outpost take, and he does give a bunch of XP for his entire team, even though he did die like a Stampede, you know, for a death, and the outpost I think it's
just get cut down. Oh my god, Deathfall! He just casually strolls into the top lane and just straight up executes Sableye. Wow. Kind of, Jesus, that was brutal.
That was a lot of damage.
Poor guy.
Goodness.
I mean, that's what happens when you farm towers on low health and there's a Timber Store in the game and you're a strength here, I suppose. It's,
And bottom tower now, Limp gonna commit to this with his exorcism. That is an arcane rune exorcism, so it's gonna be up.
Oh, he's finding runes today, isn't he? Yeah, indeed. And you just sitting behind, making sure everyone's gonna be nice and peachy as they take down this bottom tier 1 tower. And this should be every tower gone before the 12-minute mark for Alliance, which is quite frankly ridiculous. But there we are. I mean, still not a huge net worth, but I mean, as you say, it's the map control. This will translate into a higher net worth lead down the line. Right now we're not seeing it, but as Alliance are allowed to just freely roam the map and NiP are a little bit more honed in, they are going to have some issues arising.
It's also going to be a lot more difficult for NiP to help one another defend towers, or like when they're getting gone on, because these tier 1s are dead and they're not going to be able to farm up so
Era. He's going to jump down on this. I'm not sure that's a play because Supreme is there and he's going to take himself a little bit of meals on wheels. Meanwhile, S4 will bring down Era in the end, but they're going to use the Stampede to get Supreme out of danger along with Seneko. So saving 2 lives with 1 Stampede. That's what we like to see. Meanwhile, Sableye once again taking it, but this time the Chronosphere is going to come down onto him and allow Limp to get in time. Sableye running to the tree line here. Spirit Siphon comes in and a nice bash from Nico Baby cuts down Sableye.
And again, too.
Oh my goodness, they are just not stopping. Supreme is here trying to deal some damage towards S4 and, you know, punish him a bit, but they're already out.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge for bottom lane. Like, this faces Void, like, he's just going to keep on chronoing the center every time he tries to make space like this.
He turns around with a sensitive gaze, but unfortunately, it's not going to make much of a difference to his fate. Supreme, again, cutting down another. And I think we've got a slight issue arising for Alliance in that they keep giving Supreme, you know, these little side dishes here, you know, a couple of fries, a couple of potato wedges, but you can still get full of that stuff. And Supreme, he's already got his Mithril Hammer and heading towards that Desolator at not such a bad timing anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, we were talking about how these cores are super fat on Alliance, but the two supports on Alliance both have 6 deaths in total. That's all the kills that NiP have at the moment. So they're going to have to tone that down a little bit. Maybe they're feeling themselves a little bit too much here and just realize that they are pretty much the focus of every single fight because the cores on Alliance are just so farmed. They got so many items. They're extremely difficult to kill as well. Every single one of them have some way of like either gaining health back or they have some kind of armor boost. Like it's just, these are really annoying cores to kill. So the Alliance supports, they got to play a lot safer and behind the cores.
So what do you think about the way that NiP has played this game so far? You know, coming out of a really rough laning phase, but somehow being able to stabilize now. Do you think they're playing this right?
I think they're making the best out of their situation, right? I think if they laned where they could maybe punish the Timber, it could have been a little bit better. But with what situation they're in right now, I think it's absolutely perfect. They just want to get this Deso up, the Blink Dagger up, so the TA can just run around and kill the Lich and the Phoenix maybe a little bit more and farm off that. The Troll Warlord also has the Diffusal Blade now in 40 gold. That's going to be a huge pickup from there. But NiP really need to try and take a tower somewhere or maybe bait out a Chronosphere. And then after that, they can group up and try to take some fights against Alliance.
Meanwhile, Soneko is having some issues here as Hanskin's trying to burn him down, but they don't actually want to go for this one. They realize that every time they walk up these stairs, there tends to be a little pink lady waiting for them with a couple of melds to go, and that does not seem to be the ideal place. They respect Supreme's part of the map, and they will let him go. Meanwhile, up at top, there's a little bit of fighting going on for this outpost right now as S4 shows himself, and Hero's just going to keep on annoying him. He doesn't have another chakram for another 2 seconds, but Hero's like, oh, actually, I don't really want to mess with this Timber Source, so they're kind of just carrying around him. Yeah, all the cores really close on net worth, and Limp, despite his pretty damn good laning phase, he is actually fallen out of the net worth standings pretty severely and has been more than overtaken by this Templar Assassin. Meanwhile, Stampede used, they want to try and grab FNG here, and they should be able to do so, but he's going to throw down a Chain Frost just before he goes down, which is going to land a couple of times onto Supreme, but with that refraction, it ain't doing much other than slowing him down a wee bit.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Limp doesn't want to play around the mid lane that much, mainly because of the clockwork, because he has no way of really getting out of those cogs, and maybe he's a little bit more afraid. Normally what you see is when people take this mid tower super early, they just stick around there, keep shoving the lane into the tier 2, but maybe this clockwork pick is putting a little bit more pressure onto at least Limp over here.
Saberlight, he's being greedy, he's going for it, but he actually gets bashed up by Nico Baby before he can get the last hit on the tower, so it's just going to go to the dive. It doesn't get denied. Saberlight trying to get the TP away, and they're going to have to use him to make sure that he doesn't escape this one, but they will bring him down. Centaur dies to grab that tower at the very least, but not a great trade, but to be honest, you know, we've seen Saberlight die down here quite a few times, so this is clearly something he's okay with, because it's kind of causing Alliance to play a little bit inefficiently, if you will, but I still don't think it's kind of die there, really.
For sure. You really don't want to die there like that, but it is giving some information, I suppose. And it looks like they're going to get a DD rune on the TA. They're thinking about Roshan, but nope. Alliance already on top of it.
They are on top of it. They're popping the Exorcism as well, just trying to bring down this TA as quickly as possible, but the hookshot comes into Lich, stops him getting off that ultimate, but now in comes on the backlines. That's going to take down Supreme and Soneko in seconds, and now comes in the ultimate on the top lines from the Phoenix, and Charlie, he's just chopping away, and his life is gone. 4 heroes dead. They try to fight without their Centaur, and it ends up being an awful mistake. The DD just makes them a little bit baited, and now with 4 heroes dead, Alliance get a free pass into this Roshan Exorcism, already running a beautiful series of events for Alliance. That Chronosphere, that egg, everything just going their way, and now they will take down the big boy and grab themselves an Aegis.
Oh man, that is such a tough situation for NiP. They're the ones who got the double damage, but Alliance bringing all their heroes there, bringing every single hero they could possibly find, every spell being thrown into that team fight. And all of a sudden, Death Prophet activating Exorcism next to Roshan just means that after the team fight that you can just go in and take the Aegis as well. Things, it looks like options are starting to run out for NiP, like on this map, as to what objectives they can go for.
Yeah, the hope in this game kind of just got crushed a little bit, I feel like. And again, you know, NiP just getting challenged again and again and again. And if they want to turn this game around, then they need to apply some serious mental fortitude. And a little kill onto FNG, just doing a bit of ward punishing, as it were.
Yeah, FNG is 0-6 already in 17 minutes. You don't normally see that in a winning team's lineup, but he might have to tone it down a little bit. Just hang out in the back and wait for his teammates to push lanes out, and maybe he can plant a vision after they have already, pushed the waves for him.
They're going for something here. Smoke comes out, and Smoke's going to get popped by Eros. They know there's someone in this middle lane, and they're trying to bait with their cores. Interesting, and they're going to find FNG. Is that the hero they want to get on him? Well, they will bring him down, and now the Stampede being used by Sableye to try and get himself out while everyone going in. They're looking for S4. Meanwhile, Nico Baby turns up to this one. Doesn't have an ultimate, but does have an Aegis, and he's happy just to hit people. Meanwhile, Charlie left alone. His team have kind of bailed him now, but not Soneko. He comes in, gets the ultimate, saves the day. Meanwhile, S4's having some trouble, but Charlie changing targets over towards Nico Baby instead. But he's taken so much damage, he's probably just going to lose his life on his ultimate, and he doesn't, but die he certainly will. And with two heroes on the side of NiP, they decide to call it, but Supreme trying to get himself back. He's okay, it looks like. So again, they're really trying hard to make this happen, NiP. Maybe they're forcing the issue a bit too hard. Is this the kind of play you want to see them make in Thieves?
I think it's good that they're trying to play aggressive and trying to make Alliance make mistakes while the Chronosphere is on cooldown, because that's pretty much their only opportunity to fight. If they wait any longer and the Chrono comes off cooldown and Alliance also has Aegis, it's going to be really, really difficult to get any kills in the fight. So I think they have to take plays like those and make risky moves if they want to come back into this game for sure.
Even into the
gold lead. Yeah. The gold lead looks like it's only 2,000, but I feel like Alliance's heroes are just better.
Yeah.
So that goal lead is very misleading in the sense of how close this game is.
We know that they fight really damn well as Oracle gets silenced up here, running away from Limp, and Neil's just going to make sure that this Oracle is most certainly brought down. No ultimate either, so it's going to be a pretty clean demise for poor old Soneko here. Meanwhile, Supreme trying to defend this middle lane. Just have to be careful as Nico Baby's on top of him. He's got that Chronosphere if he wants to shove it down here. I'm not sure he's got enough damage to take Supreme down from 100 to 0 with that refraction on, so... yeah, they're just keeping their distance, showing respect. But at the same time, might be giving up that tier 2 tower here. Meanwhile, Hanskin going down south, but this time the outposts are going to go one apiece.
Yeah, Alliance is they're really thirsty to try and use this Chronosphere as soon as they can so that they can go back into farming. How most of these professional players like to play is when their things are off cooldown, they want to go and activate it and try to get a kill or some kind of little bit of tempo, and once it's on cooldown they can just go back and jungle. So this Faceless Void, Nico Baby, he doesn't feel comfortable just hitting creeps at the moment unless it's in a very aggressive position, so that if they do come to him, then he can just kill someone off and then go back into a defensive position of farm.
I love Nico Baby there, just pump faking the Chronosphere, trying to force this TA back into base. It's no, you don't get to hit creeps. I decide what you get to hit. I've got the Chronosphere. Meanwhile, Supreme, he's given Nico Baby's truffles a bit of a ruffling, but we'll be able to blink away. Not too many bashes today. Nico Baby might not be done with him, but you're right. It is Hero who's in trouble, and he's going to die. Meanwhile, the Chronosphere does come down, but Soneko, he's not inside. He's going to throw down the ultimate before he gets silenced. A really heads-up play here, though. There's a lot of damage coming in to Supreme right now. He needs to get himself away. He's got the blink, and he actually wants to turn this one around. They're going to take the Aegis away, and Limp in some trouble as well under that tower, but tries to turn it around with the Spirit Siphon. It's healing up so much inside that Yulz. Now they jump forward for more. Saberlight under the tier 4s. Really, guys? You're right. They are going to back themselves up, but now Charlie coming in. This one probably Rewas try and bring him down, but won't be able to bring down Nico Baby, and now taking a lot of damage and doesn't have the ultimate. They've got no fails to eat promise for him either. Saberlight throwing his life into this one. He needs to get back, but Nico Baby stays on him. Timber chain forwards as well. The Centaur with the Essence Ring is enough to keep him alive. No, because a bash comes through from Nico Baby. Meanwhile, Soneko under the tier 4s has no counterplay, and suddenly there just happens to be 4 heroes dead on the side of NiP. So close to going their way, but just a couple of hundreds of HSPs in it, and they can't bring down the heroes they want to, and they end up losing for once again.
Dude, they're farming behind the tier 2 towers. They're killing off all the creep waves just like that, waiting for the creeps to come and hit the towers, and NiP are locked in their base. They can't get out anymore. Their only play right here is to smoke up with the Centaur and the Templar Assassin and Dagger and try to get on the map by killing somebody off. And they have to do it. If they don't, Alliance are just gonna run away with this map. Suddenly the gold lead went from 2,000 to 7,000 in a matter of a minute.
Yeah, this net worth graph is starting to really take off now for Alliance, and I just find the way they played it so interesting. I mean, obviously this is draft from theirs is perfect. It's looking fantastic because even though they only had a very slight gold lead, in fact, some points didn't even have a gold lead in this game, but there's been no point in this game where you've thought they're not really far ahead. Just the way they're playing. But now they're going to look for something and they're going to find FNG. That's a nice little entry kill, but I don't think they're going to turn it into much else. Though they're going forward onto Limp here and they are going to be able to claim that Stampede. Slow them down. Now everybody else getting on top. The heal's coming out from Hanskin though. He's also got a Supernova. Should he want to use it? Can they take down Limp though? Limp with this Spirit Siphon doing so much work, but they will be able to bring him down with the ultimate from Charlie. Now they look over towards S4. This could be the fight they're looking for, but Charlie, he's running out of health. He's dead. Supreme as well being controlled on by S4. He's on top of him and Supreme's going to die as well. 3 heroes now missing on the side of NiP and it is just an escape plan now. Era running one way. Sableye, he's managed to get himself out with a Blink Dagger, but Era might not be so lucky. He's going to try and play Ring a Ring in the Rosie with S4 through the trees here. Is S4 really that bothered about Era? He does seem to be, but he's really struggling to kill off this Clockwork by himself. He's got a Yours though to hold him still if someone else wants to come over. It's going to be a slow one, and pulls out from Oracle. All right, chat, let's hear it. 2 minutes. Wow, okay. What I want to know is this Clockwork going to live or is this Clockwork going to die? He's got 10 seconds till hook shot, but there is S4 on top of him and a Phoenix coming over. Press 1 if you think the Clockwork will die. Press 2 if you think he will survive. Press 3 if you think he'll turn around and kill S4. You crazy people pressing 3. Probably don't do that. But yeah, I mean, another lost fight from NiP. Looked great for them at the start, picking off that Lich, but didn't really go their way. What keeps happening in these fights, Stephen?
Well, they killed the Lich, they killed the DP, but they stuck around too long because they felt like, oh yeah, we just killed 2 guys, we can keep going, we can wipe them out or something, right? But in reality, Alliance have a bunch of really powerful team fighting spells. The reason why they made that play is like exactly as I said. The Faceless Void uses Chrono, his Chrono's on cooldown, it's time to go smoke for NiP. And they, again, keep finding this Lich every time. I don't think, I kind of laughed there a little bit because I've been in his situation so many times before. Where like you're in a winning situation, but the enemy can only kill you, so they just keep killing you all game long. He has like 8 deaths in this game, right? So I think what NiP need to do is like after they kill the DP, they just gotta reset, move back, wait for the next set of cooldowns, reanalyze the situation, see with the positioning of the rest of Alliance's heroes, and then jump in once again. Once Centaur has another stun, or Clockwork has another battery assault, or whatever it may be. Rip Era.
In some trouble. Yeah, looking like those who pressed 1 are correct. No big surprise here. Go and claim your prize at www.weplay.com and I don't know what you get. Probably nothing. A sense of pride and accomplishment. That's all we all want at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yep. So Nico Baby has a Mjolnir now. He's making his way into a Scotty. I think he's buying the Scotty because of the Oracle. Right? The healing, I gotta reduce that healing for the Troll Warrior to make him a bit tankier. It seems like some players are starting to favor this item a little bit more nowadays.
And Chrono comes down onto Charlie. Does he have the damage to take him down? Well, he certainly does. This Troll just gets taken 100-0 by the double damage Faceless Void. A tip coming out for Charlie as well, so, well, at least you get some shards for your efforts, but not much of a softening to the blow, which was just dealt to poor old Charlie here. Jesus. It is looking dark. It is looking real dark. Supreme? Really? They're going to drop the ultimate? They're going to drop Train Pulse? They just get the kill straight up? They just jump him and bring him down. They have the lockdown. Meanwhile, a hook shot across from Era. Nick Baby actually blocking it there with the time jump forward. The time towards the end. Wow.
That's just playing baseball out here.
Yeah, for sure. Nice catch. And another 4 heroes dead. This is not the NiP we have been seeing previously in this tournament so far. This is a different team or a different alliance. These guys have been playing out of their minds, to be honest with you.
I'm going to tell you this is a different alliance. Like, ever since that time they got slapped by Secret, I think it was like 1 week ago, this team has become a completely different monster. Like, I think they really learned something from that match they had against Secret, and they realized like the meta, what it's really about, and they've adjusted their drafts, they've adjusted their gameplay, and I would love to see a rematch like that once again, like Alliance Secret or something, because this team is like, the way they're playing, they're absolutely tier 1. Like, we saw NiP, they beat Liquid some days ago, but this does not look like the team that beat Liquid, and that's not because NiP is playing worse. I think Alliance is just playing way better.
They really stepped it up this tournament. Just a constant curve of growth for them. They look better and better each time. But still, Is it completely over for NiP? You know, you've talked about them needing to still make plays when that Chronosphere is down. It is down, but this time they are trying for nothing, so there may be a slightly more scared NiP. The only timings they can look towards or anything they can still do in this game to come back into it.
Well, you know what, Nomad? You're about to get your answer in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, they have to make a response here.
This is everything right here.
If you can hold this barracks, you might still find yourselves in some sort of game. If you can't, then it's going to be a tricky one. They're maybe sitting in the backline. 20 seconds until that Chronosphere. They don't even care, though. They know how strong they are, and they are happy to take the fight to NiP. They just can't do anything about this. Look at Charlie's just taking so much damage from the ghosts alone, and well, they don't finish the job. The hook shot in the backlines onto FNG. Era trying to bring down the easy kill, and they will get this one. But now, how do you recover? Where do you go? Era might lose his life. Stampede being used to try and keep him alive. Meanwhile, on the high ground, is Limp, who could be in some trouble. Charlie, they're going to drop the ultimate down on top of him to keep him alive, but really, I mean, what's this going to do? I think he's still dead anyway. He's trying to make it back to the fountain, but he's even got a Spirit Vessel, and then boom, he's gone. And now they look over towards Saberlight as well. Saberlight's stun going to land onto nothing. Nico Baby just playing it carefully, and now the Chrono just on the edge, holding Supreme back. There's nothing they can do to keep him alive, but TA is dead as well, and they'll even find the Oracle on the sidelines of the extra +1. I'm just getting so bored of saying this, Steven, but 4 heroes dead in NiP.
What, did you get your answer?
Oh, wait a minute. We might get 5 heroes dead on NiP. Nope, he's back inside the base. Era respawns. But yeah, they've got the top barracks. They're looking towards mid now as well. Alliance, they still have the Supernova, but I mean, to be honest, they don't even feel like they need their ultimates anymore. They've had their fights, they've had their kills, and now they just feel so much stronger. And that's because they are.
Yep. And they're just gonna back out, like they're just gonna play it safe. What's the point, right? Like, why are you gonna stay there? You use all your cooldowns already. You can just go back, get your tier 3 neutral items, get Roshan, Scotty complete on Nico Baby as soon as he sends his courier. This is like, and this is NiP gonna make their last stand right here. They gotta get some miracles going. They gotta get this Faceless Void, insta stun lock, and drain all his mana, and hopefully he will die, because if he does die, he doesn't have a buyback. But they gotta go through 3,000 HP here though.
It's something, and now they see Saberlight on the front lines. They're gonna throw the Yules down. They actually gotta commit to this kill. Looks like they will. They get the fear from the high ground from FNG. A beautiful play to lock him down, and Saberlight is just gone. They're trying to find the return kill onto his spawn on the sidelines. That won't happen. Now the Yules comes down onto Templar Assassin, holding us still. Meanwhile, Charlie looking towards Limp here, but Limp is just really tanky, and Charlie is not. He's losing his. He doesn't even get the ultimate off. He's just dead before he can even use it, and they're gonna throw it down. G to the G. Inside 30 minutes, they will take game number 2, and NiP just get torn apart.
Damn,
Chickens in
man.
pajamas get absolutely fried.